What's up, everybody? This is Blair with the Badass Records podcast, welcoming you in for another episode, and I'm stoked to share with you that this week's guest is Mikey Wheeler. You can find his Instagram at Mikey Wheeler Tattooer. He is a tattoo artist at Wind Horse Tattoo down at 901 East 31st Street in KCMO. Give them a buzz at 816-283-0500. Website for the shop is windhorserising.com. And you can find them on Instagram at Windhorse Tattoo. Other cool Mikey Wheeler things for you to check out are at gift_horse_band on Instagram. Also at Soy Bomb and the Dream Team on Instagram, and Vonkar, VOHNKAR on Bandcamp. You can find their 5-track EP from 2017. Lots of good Mikey Wheeler stuff, so please check it all out and follow where appropriate. Episodes of this podcast air Thursdays when all things are operating the way they're supposed to. Find it on YouTube or where you stream and download. The website's badassrecordspodcast.com. Keep tabs with the thing on Instagram. Need to holler at me, it's badassrecordspodcast@gmail.com. That's all I've got for you. Appreciate you stopping by. Hope you enjoy the show. So I think, I can't see the numbers anymore, but I think this will be 181. I don't know if there's a 180 down there.
I see 180.
Okay, so this will be 181.
Yeah, August 13th was 180.
Awesome. Badass Records Podcast, Mikey Wheeler.
Hello.
Hello. Nice to meet you. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Mikey Wheeler Tattoo on Instagram.
Mikey Wheeler Tattooer. Yes.
I do have that down. I missed that.
Wheeler Tattooer.
Mikey Wheeler Tattooer on Instagram.
On Instagram, as well as at gmail.com.
Okay. A lot happening in your IG bio. So we've got at Windhorse Tattoo.
Correct.
Is that where you just came from?
Yes.
Okay.
I just came from finishing up a client. Ran over here from the shop.
Nice. That's 901 East 31st Street?
Correct. Yeah,
okay.
Down in Midtown.
Do you like every piece you do?
That's a loaded question, right?
Right.
I make sure I like every piece.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. My process with tattoos is I don't have to personally be super inspired or interested in every single inquiry as a project. I just need to make the best piece of art out of the request as possible.
That's awesome.
That's my only goal. Some tattoos are more exciting than others.
Sure.
It's like any job. I've been tattooing for like 23 years now. So,
wow. How old are you? You look like you're in your early 30s.
I'm 43.
Okay.
43.
Right. Carrying it well.
I started apprenticing in my teens.
Okay.
Back in the 90s. So I've been doing it a very long time. And I'm more concerned in maintaining and growing clientele and tattooing as many different types of people with as many different types of ideas as possible, which means, if I can tattoo it and it doesn't directly conflict with my moral or ethical alignment,
sure,
then I will make the best tattoo out of it possible.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on. Gift_horse_band.
Correct.
Who's that?
Gift Horse is my current original music project.
Cool.
We're in the middle of recording our first album right now.
Fun.
Yeah, we've been back and forth at Element Studios,
okay.
Strawberry Hill.
That seems to be the spot.
That's the spot.
Okay.
That's the spot. Our buddy Ian Dobbins is recording this one for us.
Nice.
Really, really good friend of ours. Incredibly gifted recording engineer. All around awesome dude. So we have a lot of fun with him putting this thing together. Same group of guys I've been making music with for like 20 years.
Cool.
We've been in multiple bands together. We'll do a band for a while, and then for any circumstance, we'll switch gears and be like, we're going to do this now, but it's going to sound different. So instead of like the band sounding different, we just start a new band.
Okay.
It's kind of Gift Horse is the current band. Yeah.
Tell Ian to come do an episode with me.
I will.
Or anybody there. I don't know.
He's in like 5 bands.
Okay.
And they're all good.
Yeah,
so you
okay.
should definitely talk to
Okay,
Ian.
cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Soy Bomb and the Dream Team.
Soy Bomb and the Dream Team is my friend Matt Cole, who plays bass in Gift Horse,
Okay.
and I are also in a 90s cover band
Oh,
called Soy Bomb and the Dream Team. Traditionally, we've been doing 2 shows a year.
okay.
Strictly 2 shows a year, one at Lemonade Park and one at Record Bar.
Nice.
It's like a summer and
Those are great
winter.
venues,
Yeah,
right?
those are great venues. We work with Steve.
Yeah,
and-
Steve did an episode
Yeah.
many moons
Yeah,
ago.
I listened to Steve's
Okay,
episode
okay.
in preparation to
Nice.
talk to you today. I was like digging through there. I was like, oh, Steve. So yeah, it's a big show. We play for about 3 hours, 30 to
With a
40
set break?
songs with an intermission,
Okay.
about 15 minutes in the middle. The core band is about 7 of us, a bunch of parents who do not have time to do it at all, and
Hence
find
2
a
gigs
way.
a year.
Yeah, hence 2 shows a year.
Yeah.
We do a little bit of rehearsal prior to shows. We've got as many as like half a dozen to a dozen guest musicians that work with us. Like
Fun.
Steady P, Ray, down at a Record Bar, he helps us with
I've
hip-hop
talked to Steady
songs.
P about doing this, but
Yeah.
we
Got to line
drifted,
that up.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, Ray's amazing. But yeah, we'll play from like 8 to 11 and cram as much material, all genres.
Cool.
So it's a big, fun, huge party. Do it a couple
I got to
times a
tell you, we were talking about Bartle Scout Camp in Osceola before we were rolling. This is my son's first summer doing that. He was a Cub Scout for 4 years prior, and so we did like 2 days at Camp Nash in Bonner Springs, which is absolutely miserable because it's always like the first week of June for our group.
Sure.
And it's just that first wave of just torturous heat, and you're in the tick-infested woods hiking for days to get the boys to all the things. There was one little window last year where they we got there and there was like a crazy engineering related pool shutdown. So the pool was like empty.
Okay.
And I mean, that is a huge part of both of those 2 days.
Yeah, I
To
bet.
get in the pool. So they set up this like water activity outside the mess hall to kind of get the boys cooled off. And we're always on like, it's a level 3 heat advisory. So the other big thing is when the general store opens, you can go buy like Fun Dip and
Right.
Powerade. And, you know, when it's a level X and above, they'll only sell you water and Gatorade. You can't buy ice cream. You can't buy soda.
Okay.
So anyway, they've made this activity and we don't have to be there. So we're all in the mess hall. All of us dads are in the mess hall underneath big giant fans in the shade in our camp chairs, just chilling. And I am sitting next to Robert Flynn, who is on that wall somewhere. He did an episode. Talking to him about doing an episode because he hadn't done it yet, and messaging Steady P
Okay.
at the same time. And for whatever reason, because Steady P sounds so much like Scotty P, the scene from We Are the Millers.
Yeah.
So like I just start cracking up and I've got to explain it to him, and he's like, oh, I did a fantastic Scotty P when that movie came out. And so every bit of exchange that I'm reading via DM with Steady P, I'm hearing in Scotty P's voice.
Oh my
You know what I'm saying?
You should ask him if he's a fan of the movie.
For sure. So the covers range from what to what for Soy Bomb and the Dream Team?
Limitless.
Okay.
Obviously, there's a lot of alternative rock, like radio rock from the whole purpose of the band is like time capsule, nostalgia party.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dancing and singing. We get generally around 400 people to these shows,
Dang.
and it turns into quite, especially at Record Bar where that's shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
By the second set, like, an hour and a half in, people are real cozy. And but a lot of alternative rock. We get into hip hop. We get into R&B. A lot of country, even. Our friend Kristen is an incredible country singer.
Nice.
And we've dabbled into a lot of stuff that I didn't even listen to necessarily back then myself. And having being tasked with learning these songs have kind of gained more of an appreciation for certain stuff. We even started dabbling in heavier stuff, like, which is more my background.
Yeah.
So that's been pretty fun. So it just has to be a hit. It has to have been a single. We go to the charts. We look at the charts. The other premise is like our summer shows, again, traditionally is like best of the 90s. So
Okay.
anything goes,
Nice.
90 to 99. And then the Record Bar show has, up to this point, been same length show, 30 to 40 songs, 3 hours, but all music from a single year of the 90s.
That you pick each.
It's been chronological up to this point.
Okay,
Last
gotcha.
time we did 98. 99's next. So in that case, that's really fun and an interesting challenge because, okay, there's a direct parameter. It's got to be a single from that year. So we really have to look at the charts and be like, what was going on? And those shows are really fun because you just watch like 400 people have this epiphany over and over again. It's like, this song came out the same year this song did, and then they're like thinking about, where was I that year?
I was dating
specifically?
Susie Million.
For those who graduated that year. So it's really, really cool, and you can kind of see them just connect, and the escapism's kind of fun. There's a lot of singing, and it's cool.
What is in your best estimation, what's the magic the formula in terms of advertising and letting folks know that these shows are happening? Is it a week? Is it a month? Is it?
Well, we start selling tickets generally a couple months in advance.
Okay.
I set all these shows up with Steady P. He books for Record Bar. And again, he performs with us, so he's just as invested in it as we are. And I make all the posters for him.
Nice.
So I always make a fun poster. We typically superimpose our heads on a 90s movie poster. The last one was the Sandlot poster, and I put all of our heads on it. Do a little like DIY Photoshop business with the same software I do my tattoo design with. And then I get that to him. And once all that's approved, he gets it on the website, and then tickets go live through Dice. They start selling it.
Is it like a trickle sales wise, and then it spikes?
Yeah, what usually happens, it's kind of been different every year. And there was a huge spike in attendance like one year. Like we showed up for load in, and like the attendance, the pre-sale was already more than the total show out for the previous year.
Wow.
Pre-sale before the doors had even opened. And we're like, are you sure you're looking at the right show? That can't be right. And then pre-sale got real crazy for a couple years. And then our last show, pre-sale was kind of low, and everybody else was getting a little nervous. I was like, no, I think people are just like, they're getting used to like how this goes. And people are going to buy tickets in advance if they want. Or they're just going to show up and pay at the door. And that's exactly what happened. Like we had the same turnout, even like a bigger turnout, and most people just opted to pay at the door. So the pre-sale is there as an option.
Okay.
But oftentimes it's just people roll in and it's like, let me in.
Yeah.
and we get going. Yeah.
Any reference to the Bob Dylan Grammys performance?
That is it.
Okay.
Yeah, our buddy Andrew. So we have to we're very, it's a democracy in the band because there's a lot of us.
Yeah.
We even have to have like a weird like Google spreadsheet via email to like vote on practice dates. That's how like complicated it is.
I mean,
like,
everybody's
busy.
Yeah.
There's like 14 children amongst the core band members. So
a lot of carpools and practices.
yeah. So there was a similar voting process on the band name. It's like, okay, we need a name once we decide we're gonna play frequent shows annually. And I pitched the Dream Team.
Okay.
NBA 92.
Yeah.
NBA, the greatest basketball team ever assembled, arguably. And that's actually what everybody voted on the most. There was a bunch of names that were going around. So the Dream Team won, and then our buddy Andrew was like really passionate about the soy bomb concept, as you're familiar with the soy bomb incident.
Yeah. The episode that came out Thursday with Sherry Ortiz, who does just one day travel tours around town. She had Mumford & Sons' "Sigh No More" on her list, and I believe they performed at the Grammys that night.
Okay.
And then the next day, somebody shared a link online to this like black and white little coffee shop gig that they did.
Okay.
Which was, I mean, I like that sound. I know it's not for everybody, but having never heard it before and seeing a very well shot, intimate setting, black and white with this, sort of folk banjo inspired rock.
Sure.
I was like, wow. So like, and the soy bomb thing, I was like, I don't watch the Grammys.
Sure,
it just happened to be on.
Right.
And I was like, what in the absolute fuck is this?
Yeah.
And they didn't do anything. They just nobody like rushed them and tackled them right away. And I've never, in Spanish, soy would be I am. So I am bomb, or is it like soy milk bomb?
I think that it was some sort of performance art, borderline kind of. It was a protest. It was a silent on-stage protest about the art scene and about the monetizing of art, and it's tied to like, you know. I know less about the details because this guy was an artist, and I believe he was even part of Bob Dylan's like backing band, and he was literally back there and kind of like ran forward and exposed.
So he didn't have to pull any shenanigans to
No,
get.
he was like, I think he was already up there.
Okay, no wonder
from what
they
I
didn't do
understand.
anything.
So somebody might know more about this.
Sure,
And correct me
right.
about this.
No.
But Andrew was really tuned into this because the guy came up. He had soy bomb like on his chest in some sort of paint or something like that.
Yeah.
So once we had voted on the dream team, Andrew was like,
Hey,
can it be Soy Bomb and the Dream Team? Because he's and we actually really like the ring of it.
It's got a great ring.
It's a big name. It doesn't necessarily make sense, but it's fun. It's like it's got a good cadence to it.
Yeah.
So that was ultimately what we decided on.
Sometimes, you know, if you're looking at an IG handle and it's, you know, the link, like sometimes it makes sense there, and sometimes you don't even pay attention to what it is, and you tap, and then you go to the thing, and it's all. You know, if you don't have underscores or periods or whatever, and I'm like, it's like your brain's like a 2-stroke engine. Like it takes a second to fire up, and I go, I'm like, what is it? Soy Bomb and the Dream Team. Yeah. Wow, that's catchy.
Yeah, it's a mouthful. But for a band that is a cover band, so there's no originals, and our intention is just to like bring people. I guess it primarily our age back to a time, but 90s music seems to be really, really popular with younger generations now too, for good reason. It's great music. Those were my formative years as a guitar player, so like it's a dream project for me. It's the stuff that like I learned to play guitar on.
Yeah.
So to come back now and relearn a lot of that material and learn songs I never did before. It's been a really cool experience with great people. They're really good friends. So.
Sweet. Okay, from 4 to 1. Your Mount Rushmore NBA players is
from 4 to 1.
Yes.
In order?
Yes.
Oh man.
If you decide between now and the time this airs that you want to edit that, tell me and I'll put it in the notes.
I'll stick to my guns.
Okay.
I'll stick to my guns. From 4 to 1.
Yes.
Okay. People like to kind of leave him aside due to the era, but I got to put Bill Russell in there.
Ooh, solid.
Just as like a winner, like
10, 11 rings.
11 rings. And like pillar defensive center for the Boston Celtics, like rebounds left and right. And just and then he later was a player coach.
Okay.
And you know they named like you know the Bill Russell Award after him. He's been like a central figure in the NBA for decades and decades and decades.
This is such a fantastic start to this. I hope you don't fuck it up after.
No, it's a good start. Let's see if it falls apart after this. But just everything he did on and off court.
Okay.
Like you can't leave him out. After that, the argument is always, is it Larry or is it Magic, right? I'm a bigger Larry Bird fan. I think Magic Johnson was maybe more important.
I saw a thing 2 days ago, I believe, on if Magic were a point guard in today's game, he wouldn't be in the league. I was like,
yeah, people say crazy stuff.
Right? Yeah.
Crazy stuff. He like won the Lakers a NBA Finals as a rookie playing center. He's a point guard. Like, it's Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
So again, just like in Larry Bird, he's up there, but not top 4. He's not,
shit!
No, not top 4. I'm zagging.
Yeah,
zigging or zagging.
Yeah. So you're going Magic at the 3?
Sure. Yeah, I'll go Magic at the 3.
I'm not trying to put words in your
No,
mouth.
for sure.
Okay.
I get it. And then after that, like it's got to be LeBron. You can't argue with the numbers and the production.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like he's nowhere near my favorite players. Like not even top 20. But like we're talking like number 1 in everything. Like everything.
Okay.
He was in what 8 or 9 consecutive NBA Finals. Like pure production, longevity, 20 years.
Yeah.
Like he's still elite like dominant athlete 20 years later. Again, not a personal favorite.
Yeah.
And then I'm a Jordan guy.
Okay.
I'm a Jordan guy.
You win. You win just on that alone.
Jordan.
Man, so no Kobe in your 4.
Not my top 4.
Okay.
There's a lot of arguments for Kobe. And then modern, like Steph Curry's, he's way up there too, man.
Yeah.
My personal favorites, I'm a Clyde Drexler dude.
Ooh, wow.
Hakeem Olajuwon is way up there for me. It goes on, but like, yeah, as far as like really undeniable, like the history and the legacy of the NBA would not be the same without those 4 players specifically. I don't know. I guess that's my top 4.
That's great.
Yeah.
I saw a TikTok last week. And it was just it was a clip of Bronny, I guess, and it was like the headline caption was he didn't want to wear his dad's number because he didn't want people to identify him as his dad's kid, and somebody's like, yeah, like people are going to be like, who's this LeBron James Jr. guy?
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's like I get it. He's trying to make his own way, and that whole situation is like really tough because I mean he's clearly a good basketball player. He is in the NBA after all. But he's not great.
Right.
And I think everyone knows that. He knows that.
Yeah.
But that's, man, it's got to be tough. Like, your dad is LeBron James. It's like...
Does AI make your top 10?
Iverson? No, it doesn't.
No? Okay. No. Top 20?
Top 20 for sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. I was going to ask you to leave if you didn't make it
sure,
top 20.
No, Iverson definitely top 20.
Where are you on the free throw merchant argument for Shea?
I don't necessarily believe in it.
Okay.
I don't think Shea does anything manipulative to get free throw calls. Okay. I think he's just that crafty.
Agreed.
In the lane. He's like my ideal basketball player. He's not necessarily like a favorite of mine, but as far as his style, I'm a mid-range guy. I love shooters, and not necessarily 3-point shooters. No. Like Steph is incredible.
Right.
Like again, like the league completely changed with Steph, and it's impressive what he does. My favorite basketball players are like the mid-range, pick you apart, because those are the guys that have to put the ball on the floor against their defender to get them off balance, and then take advantage of like high percentage shooting. So Kawhi Leonard, huge fan. That's something Kobe did almost better than anybody. So I love guys that can get in there and like work about 10 to 12 feet away. But when Shea chooses to turn the corner and go in, he does really interesting things with like how he shifts his body weight.
Yep.
And defenders don't know what to do with it, and they foul him.
Yeah.
What's a merchant about that? It's like they need to learn how to defend him. It's not his fault.
So I'm biased because I'm new, but I am an OKC fan.
Sure.
I played 5th through 8th, so 4 years. And I mean, when I went out for 5th grade tryouts, you couldn't have found a more horribly skilled player if you would have hand selected.
That was me going into high school.
Okay.
For sure.
I didn't get a lot better over those 4 years, which is a thing that I try to remind my son of every time he's feeling frustrated. Like he's going into 6th.
Okay.
And he just finished 5th grade. I was like, you are quite possibly 100 times better as a 5th grade player than I was.
Sure.
I mean, like it's, and you're putting in the work, dude. I didn't have, it doesn't matter. But I'm almost 51. Very guilty often of old guy, get off my lawn when I was your age.
Aren't we all?
So like if you pay any attention to the Old Man and the Three podcast that JJ Redick used to host.
Sure.
Now he's got a younger dude doing it. It's still really good, but JJ is a basketball mind.
He's brilliant. Yeah.
And he talked about like, he's doing that podcast, and they had the one with LeBron. And when he was doing the one with LeBron, he talked about not only is the 3-point ball insane in terms of popularity and frequency of shots taken. But in this particular span of time that he was looking at, they were firing their first teams were firing their first three with 6 seconds having run off the play clock. Right. So you have so much time in, whatever. And then the interesting graphic of 2005 versus 2025 and where on the floor shots were taken, and the mid range in 2005 was just, saturated.
Dense, yeah.
And now it's
non-existent, yeah.
Anyway, I don't hate the 3-ball. I think it's fine. But I, for quite some time, was guilty of saying the NBA is, college is better. The NBA, nobody plays defense. It's just threes and dunks and blah, blah, blah. I know that's not true now.
Sure.
But I don't think we've seen a brand of defense like the Thunder displayed in I don't know how long.
Absolutely not.
And it's so freaking fun to me to watch. And I was just curious, the defense of an Alex Caruso or a Lou Dort. Do you see value in those guys?
Infinitely.
Okay.
I was about to say it starts with Caruso.
Okay.
He's one of my favorite modern contemporary players. He came from the Lakers, and he's a high flyer too. Like, people forget he was like dunking on everybody. Yeah. Then he went to the Bulls for a while. Now he's on the Thunder, and he's such a cool, like, long player. And Dort completely shuts people down.
It's nuts.
He's nuts. So there is defense played in the NBA.
For
like,
sure.
There's this weird, like, sentiment that that's not the case. It just happens to be ineffective a lot of time because you have the best scorers in the world.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the disconnect there.
Yeah.
It's like nobody plays defense. It's like, no, they try.
Yeah.
But play defense against Giannis. What are you supposed to do? Good luck. Play defense against Steph Curry.
Where's he going to land?
Yeah. Oh, Giannis?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's given us the impression that he's going to die in Milwaukee. But I who's to say? Like, you've got these really interesting players that seem they have like an allegiance to their original team, and that's obviously an old school mentality.
Yep.
Like, you've got your Kobe's and you've got your Larry Birds and your Magic Johnsons, and for the most part Jordan, where they stayed and they did everything they could to win there, and they had no intention on going anywhere else. Even like Dirk, like, not super long ago. And now there's a lot more movement in the NBA. Like, players change teams constantly, even annually if you're a Russell Westbrook or somebody like that.
Yeah.
That's for different reasons. But Giannis feels like a throwback. Like, he's going to be frustrated and he's going to be dejected, especially having won a championship somewhat recently.
Yeah.
And things looking pretty bleak since then.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if he's the kind of guy who's going to, like, leverage himself elsewhere.
What'd you make of Halliburton's dad?
Completely out of line.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're scoring 100%.
Yeah,
right?
and Tyrese called him on it. He's just like, Dad, this is my job, and, like, you're my dad, but you're
also, it's Giannis. Like,
Giannis.
why is he a dick?
No,
I don't think
that's
he's
the thing. And Giannis even commented on it later. He's like, that was incredibly disrespectful. Like, Giannis is not a jerk. He's a consummate professional. He's a good person. So for, like, and I get it, like, Tyrese's dad is excited. His son is an excellent basketball player. He brought the Pacers to the finals for, like, it doesn't happen for that team. And that's like, there's a lot of passion and a lot of excitement, but it was completely out of line and inappropriate. And it's a business and it's professional, and there's no. It's Giannis. Like, there's no reason to do that with him. So
you're going to be late for your show, and I'm going to be late for my dinner if we stay in this hoops lane. I would love to, but
and everybody's going to listen to this. I thought they were going to talk about music.
Windhorserising.com is the website for Windhorse Tattoo. 816-283-0500, I think is the number. There's a band camp for Vonkar.
Vonkar. That was a shortly lived instrumental metal project. Cool. There's actually an album there. We have just neglected to
self-titled 5-track EP.
Well, there's 2 recordings.
Okay.
The second one never even came out.
Oh, dang.
Again, it's just something we kind of did in between bands as an almost like an exercise, and like how excessive can we like write instrumental metal that stands on its own without vocals. So it kind of even ventured into like progressive music, but it was inherently metal. And we did essentially 2 EPs that we always intended to like put together, master as like a group of songs, and then release as an album. And for no other reason than just neglect, it hasn't happened yet. But
it's still alive somewhere.
The music is there.
Okay.
It's there. It's just something I need to get around to doing.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So that was 2017. Mikey, Michael, Justin, and Paul
Correct.
recorded at the Space in Columbia.
So that is the practice space out in Columbia that still exists. We still have friends that practice in that same practice space. I'm sure I still have like equipment there that I forgot about. That was home base for years and years. It's in a strip mall behind a Casey's just outside of Columbia, Missouri.
Okay.
Right next door to a church. They would come over and ask us to help them fix their like organs if they broke and stuff like that.
Oh wow!
Like, you guys are all like musicians, right? But yeah, we scored this really crazy space at the tail end of a strip mall with like really high ceilings and a bathroom in the back, and we've probably been over there for a decade now. I don't practice out there anymore, but
right.
like a lot of my friends still do. When I was out here, I was telling you before we started recording that I grew up in Columbia. I was out there for 20 years, started all my bands out there, moved back out here to Kansas City in roughly 2009. But for the first decade I was back here in Kansas City, every Sunday I would go back to Columbia and practice with my bands there. And at the time I was in 2 bands. So I would show up at the Space at about noon on a Sunday, practice with a band from noon till 4. They would all leave. The other band would show up and I would stay and practice with them from 4 till 8. And then I would drive back to Kansas City.
Wow.
So it was like my Sundays were a 4-hour round trip and then 8 hours of band practice.
I got to tell you, as before we were talking about me going to Columbia, and there's something about that specific drive time that is just perfect.
Oh, yeah.
It's not too far.
No.
You can get, in this age of distraction, there's very little scenario in which you have to concentrate, and highway driving, especially on I-70, is one of them.
Sure.
Now, are we as focused drivers as we were 20 and 30 years ago? Probably not.
Nope.
But you're still kind of locked in, and for the purposes of I got Mikey Wheeler coming up. I need to listen to a couple of the records on his list, or been meaning to listen to so-and-so's podcast episode. It's like you can consume something organically instead of just force fed.
Yeah.
And then you're there.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Snap out of
Let's
it.
get a beer or a snack or.
Yeah. I'm far more fond of podcasts on trips like that because they do occupy the time, I think, better than listening to music.
Sure.
So, just in that context.
The EP was recorded at the Space, but mastered at Element.
Correct.
Did you develop a relationship with them in that place because it is the spot, or what?
Yeah, so like we've been working with them and Joel Nanos, who owns the place. Joel recorded so Gift Horse prior to this was in a band called Famines for exactly one full-length album, and we recorded that with Joel.
Okay.
And I've been working with Joel with my buddy Mike for a really long time, who is also in Famines, and we were just bringing him stuff from the other bands. It's like, okay, well, you do mastering. Even if you didn't record this, can you master this for us? And then so we'd have some stuff recorded there and mastered there, and we bring outside stuff in. So we've had a working relationship with Joel and Ian and everyone over there. Chase works over there. My friend Nathan, who plays guitar in Gift Horse, he's actually their in-shop like tech. He works on amplifiers.
Nice.
He works on guitars, primarily amplifiers. So he has a shop in the recording studio. So yeah, it's become kind of the new home base. We even rehearsed there recently a couple times for some shows and prior to recording. So yeah, we've been bringing them stuff for years now.
Cool.
Yeah.
So making this happen, there's a lot of little pockets and lanes, and I have systems, air quotes,
Sure.
in place for a lot of them, but there's still stuff that slips through the cracks, and one of those is how I connect with a person initially. And And so, in trying to jog my memory, how you landed on my radar, I think that Vanessa Kramer got a tattoo done by you. Is that
that sounds
okay?
familiar. Yeah.
Because she did an episode not too terribly long ago, and I really enjoyed our conversation.
Excellent.
It was super fun. I'm as a pipe dream writer. Anybody that's actually publishing books and selling them is always impressive to me. And she was very sharp. And so just one day, I think not too terribly long ago, she was like, I got a new tattoo, and I think threw your credit in the post, and I was like, oh, what's this guy's story?
Very cool.
I think that's how we connected.
Yeah, I know Steve was here, and I know you've been talking to Steady P and stuff like that. So it's the Kevin Bacon thing.
Yeah, exactly.
People end up in your chair one way or another.
Yes. So grew up in Columbia. Born there.
Born in Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Born in Kansas City in '82.
Okay.
Moved to Columbia in like '89.
Okay. Any idea how your folks connected initially?
So my mom's basically a single mom from the time I was a little kid.
Okay.
My dad was out of the picture by the time I think I was 4.
Okay.
So I don't have any memory of my dad, any relationship with him whatsoever. So I really grew up with my mom and my little brother. And I have 2 older brothers. They're half brothers. Primarily grew up with their father.
Okay.
So they're from my mom's first and only marriage.
Okay.
And then my dad came into the picture, and then I was born, and I think they just mutually decided that like we were gonna move forward as a family unit without him. And around '89, my mom decided she really wanted to go to MU out in Columbia. And,
and move
us out there.
Okay.
So the 3 of us moved out to Columbia and started our life out there.
So 3 brothers. You, mom, is she playing music in the home to listen to when you guys are young?
Like as far as like on CD,
yeah, or the radio,
constantly.
Okay,
constantly.
What was she into?
It goes way further back than that too. So all that started when I initially was growing up in Kansas City. My mom, my little brother, and myself all lived in my grandmother's house.
Okay.
Way down south, close to Raytown. My uncle Jeff also lived in the house.
Okay.
And he was essentially my primary like adult male role model.
Okay, cool.
He had like the sub basement room.
Yeah.
Like we all had rooms upstairs, and he had like the basement suite like a teenager would have.
Uh-huh.
So he was kind of like a perpetual teenager, but an amazing person, like my best friend.
Nice.
And this guy, I mean, he's like well into his 30s at this point when I was like roughly that age. And he let me come down there every single night and listen to vinyl with him.
No way.
Every night. Like and never was like, get out of here, like leave me alone. He he'd go to work all day and come home and water his plants, and he would just put vinyl on all night and dance. He just danced to vinyl. And that was my earliest like experience, like being like indoctrinated with like all of this this music. And my mom did too. She would come down and they'd play records together. But it was really this like a lot of this one-on-one time with my uncle and his vinyl collection, which I own now. He passed away when I was like in my early 20s.
Okay.
And I ended up inheriting all of his vinyl. So all the music I grew up listening to.
Okay.
So his influence was enormous early on. And we're talking like his whole thing. He loved Rush. He loved Heart. He like a lot of Journey, a lot of hair metal kind of stuff. He was a just like very like colorful, kind of like friendly, very flamboyant gay man. So he loved Steve Perry, like and all this stuff, and just had this most like this warm, organic relationship with the music that kind of moved him. And my mom was into all that stuff too. She really loved that stuff, but she also was kind of into the more the Fleetwood Mac kind of stuff, like Genesis. Like she had her own lane, and there was like the Venn diagram crossover between them. And then my grandma, she's a really good musician. She plays piano and stuff, and had more of the kind of old country stuff going on, kind of like the Chet Atkins and that old Patsy Cline and stuff like that. Which she would kind of be upstairs, like trying to listen to her music while Jeff is like blaring Rush downstairs. So there's just music all over the house.
Awesome.
And that's just kind of, I was around it all the time.
So here's all of that music.
Yeah.
Uncle Jeff's, mom's, grandma's. Here's your list that you shared with me.
Okay.
Is there an album that stands out to you in terms of taking that first step out of all of the stuff that's around you and being like, wow, that's really cool? Not necessarily from your list, but it's just something that, I mean, it's a unique question for you because of all of the exposure you were getting from a young age. But outside of what they were into, not quite you fully fleshed out, does anything stand out?
So, what's really interesting is like, I think one of two things happen to people as they get older in their relationship with music. They either reject everything that that their parents and like subsequent like adult role models listen to, for different reasons.
Yeah.
And insist on going their own route, and then that stuff is dead to them. It's almost like a triggering sort of thing.
Yeah.
Or they go off and find their own thing, and then eventually come back around to the stuff that they grew up on, and that's me.
Okay.
I got into my teens and got into like learning how to play guitar. I started playing guitar when I was 11. So everything that was happening immediately around me, like the 90s music, that was like my stuff. Now my mom was way into that stuff too, because like my mom's just into cool music.
Yeah.
And whatever I exposed her to, she was open to. She was like, oh, this is awesome. She became like the world's biggest Primus fan.
That is, I think, pretty rare.
It is
that
rare.
You have that with mom plus Uncle Jeff plus grandma. I mean, like
she was just as open to being influenced by me as the other way around. That is really special.
I mean, people like to throw around the word privilege for a lot of different reasons.
Sure.
That is a huge privilege.
It's a huge privilege.
As a music appreciator.
Yeah.
That you're sort of getting all this stuff.
Yeah, and it goes both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my mom's still like my best friend because she has always been she's a consummate student in life. She's still constantly learning things. As much as a teacher, she is a student. And the age gap, you're my son, I'm your mom, had nothing to do with it. It's like, if you have something like amazing to expose me to, bring it on. So yeah, I got into like 90s music and stuff. And then when I was about 15, I was asked to join my first band. It was like a pop punk band.
Okay.
So now I'm being like put through the Ramones school of like pop punk, like specifically pop punk, like Screeching Weasel and stuff like that. And then she was maybe less into that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
The whole point is, now that I'm 43 years old, over the past 5 to 10 years, I've really come back around to the stuff I grew up with. 70s music, 80s music. And I was like, well, I've learned about all this stuff in between, and I still think the best music ever written was the stuff I was hearing when I was a kid.
Okay.
There's bits and pieces of things here and there. I don't know that I answered your question, but I will tell you the first album I ever bought with my own money.
There you go.
Was, we were at Target. It was a cassette, and I bought Don't Look Back by Boston on cassette, because that was a big album that my uncle used to play. He used to play Boston all the time.
Boston's so goddamn good.
It's really cool. And later on, I became a huge Thin Lizzy fan. Like I love guitar harmonies.
Sure.
I think it comes from listening to Boston when I was a kid. Because they're good rock songs, and to some extent the compositions get even more like elaborate, and there's like really like kind of huge arena rock kind of sound. Famously to the point where they kind of fell apart because they couldn't ever reproduce it live, because the production on the albums is so like
Tom Scholz was doing
everything,
so much of it.
There's like 8 guitar tracks all the time.
Yeah.
It's like there's only 2 guitar players up there. It doesn't sound anything like the album. But those guitar harmonies and like the structures and kind of like how dramatic things could sound. So guitar harmonies always stuck with me. So yeah, like I was a kid and I was like starting to, I had an allowance, I guess.
Yeah.
And I was like, found this cassette with all these it's a
great record.
I'll buy that record.
I love Third Stage.
Yeah.
Just the build up and some of that organ. You talk about the church next door to the space. Some of that organ very much feels like the album cover art, like this guitar shaped spaceship plunging through.
It's just the coolest stuff.
I mean, I really like Cool the Engines. Obviously, Amanda put them on a lot of people's maps and got later radio play. But there's a lot of really cool pieces to that album, and I think some folks like to poo-poo it, but
not me. Most people would be familiar with like More Than a Feeling,
of course,
stuff like that.
Yeah,
And just like kind of this arena sound. And it's more to me than that, though. There's something about like that particular brand of songwriting. A lot of people who are less familiar with the extent of their catalog, which is massive at this point, but I'm a huge fan of The Darkness.
I have listened to Zero, Boston, Beyond, Third Stage.
Okay, The Dark. I'm talking about the modern band, The Darkness.
Oh, sorry.
No, for sure. Yeah. Which everybody knows I Believe in a Thing Called Love Song, right?
Okay.
So they're an English band who definitely come from that background, Boston, Queen, and they were kind of like essentially like dismissed as kind of a kitschy, sort of almost like a joke band. But they have this incredibly rich catalog of music that's absolutely inspired by the 70s guitar music. And they do it as well as any of those bands ever did. Like, they're actually that good. And there's somebody who likes to write guitar parts and guitar harmonies. We don't do any guitar harmonies in Gift Horse for the most part. We actually have a very strict no guitar solos rule in Gift Horse. Again, like this particular project has its own parameters, and we like to work within parameters. But Famines, the previous band we were in, every song had like guitar harmonies all over it. So that's for some reason a part of songwriting and a part of like listening to music that I've always been affectionate about.
Sure. Early or first live music?
So the first two concerts I ever saw were both James Taylor.
Really? With Mom?
With Mom.
Okay.
We saw James Taylor at Sandstone when it was still called Sandstone.
It's always Sandstone.
Yeah, for sure. I call it Sandstone.
Yeah.
What Cricket Wireless?
It's Azura now.
Azura, whatever.
Quit changing that highway sign, man.
I think they stopped even putting anything on it. I think it's just blanket says amphitheater now because they changed it.
No way, really?
Yeah, for real.
Funny.
So I think right before we moved to Columbia, we saw them at Sandstone. And then like the following year after we moved to Columbia, we saw him at the Hearn Center.
Okay.
So we saw him like 2 years in a row. Like,
wow.
He kind of... He moved us to Columbia, basically. So I saw 2 James Taylor concerts in a row as a child, like 8 or 9 years old.
Nice.
And I really, really like late 60s, early 70s, Laurel Canyon era singer-songwriter stuff. I love it. Like Crosby, Stills and Nash is some of my favorite music. All of their individual projects. I love Graham Nash's music specifically. And a lot of stuff from that era.
I've never poked around. Where should I start with Graham Nash?
Songs for Beginners.
Songs for Beginners.
That might be a top 10 album of all time.
Okay.
For me. So a lot of that music resonates with me a lot. And he wasn't really necessarily a part of that exact scene, but he comes from kind of like the same era and the same principles as a songwriter. So
cool.
I wasn't as exposed to that back then, even though my mom listened to a lot of it. I don't think she listened to a lot of it around me.
Right.
So I kind of came into that on my own.
Okay.
Yeah.
First guitar at 11. Where does the want, or I should say what age does the want for that guitar start, and what did you end up with?
So what's really funny is my oldest brother, Jamie, had been playing guitar for a while. So I wanted to play guitar because I wanted to be like my brother,
sure.
Jamie. It was that simple.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even really like an idea of my own. It was like, oh, Jamie's cool. He plays guitar. I want to do that. You know, you're a younger brother.
Yeah.
No, I'm telling the story wrong. Let me start over. He was playing guitar and saxophone.
Wow. Okay.
Played saxophone in school. So I think I saw him play saxophone at like a school thing. So initially I thought I wanted to play saxophone. And I talked to Jamie about it. I was like, I think I'm going to play saxophone. He's like, no, you need to play guitar. Guitar is the thing he'd been playing not very long. He'd been playing saxophone forever. I think my older brother Jared played saxophone as well. And yeah, I had it in my mind I was going to play sax because that's what I knew him as. And he's like, nope, play guitar. It's way more fun. You can do more with it. So yeah, just from his suggestion, I was like, okay, I guess I'll do that instead. So I talked to my mom, and she got me a real like cheap, just kind of beginner acoustic guitar.
Okay.
That was incredibly difficult to play.
Yeah.
Not that I knew the difference.
Right.
But in retrospect, it was incredibly difficult to play. And back then, it was like Mel Bay songbooks. It was like literally physical songbooks with guitar tablature, which is, you know, the guitar map version of actual sheet music, which is a little bit easier to read if you're not like well versed in sheet music. So I started learning chords, and I started learning real simple scales, and then about a year in or so, I started taking guitar lessons at a guitar, like just a music shop. Like I think primarily sold pianos, but they had some guitars. But they had teachers. It's called Hennessy Music, right down the street from the junior high school I went to, actually. And I took guitar lessons for a year from a guy named Pete Ubriaco, who was in a rock and roll band.
What a cool last name.
Yeah, he sounds like a rock and roll guitar player.
Yeah.
And that's actually what ended up happening a year after I started taking lessons from him. And he was great. I love this dude. He actually had to quit being a guitar teacher, because he was in a band at the time. I think they were called The Cause, and they got signed because it was the 90s when bands got signed. Yeah. And he's like, we're going to go on tour, and I'm just going to try to be like a professional musician. So he was gone. That was it. And he was replaced by another gentleman. I don't recall his name because I took 2 lessons from him, and he was like, okay, here's 12-bar blues. And I was like, that's great. That's not really what I'm interested in. Pete was like, he was teaching me the fundamentals. He was making sure I knew the basics of guitar. But he did this really cool thing where, like, once a week, he'd have me bring in a song I wanted to learn.
Oh, that's...
You know, and at that time, I was picking up, like, Stone Temple Pilots records and Pearl Jam records.
Yeah.
And, like, that, again, like, the current music that was like, I'm a kid. This is new. This is supposed to be for me. And I actually did like that music, and he had a cassette player, and he put it in, and he'd like learn the song by ear. He'd just like figure out the chords, and then he would teach me how to play the song. And then he was replaced by a guy who's like, 12-bar blues, which is a box. And it's got its place. It's not for me. It's a very strict format. It's a very rigid format, and it's not applicable to much other than that.
Right.
And I just was not particularly inspired to continue that. So after that, I just taught myself from there because I knew how to read tablature. So
nice. You've been inking for 20 years?
Like almost 23 years.
23 years. Where does that passion...
So it's kind of almost like directly related to playing guitar because I've obviously been doing that longer. After I've been playing guitar for a while and I got into punk rock and stuff, the majority of my favorite musicians and the modern bands that I was like really into, the musicians had tattoos.
Yeah.
And I was really into Green Day.
Okay.
And Billy Joe Armstrong had like tattoos everywhere. And the whole aesthetic, like it was just very new to me. It was like 1994, you know, like when that band became mainstream, and nothing quite looked like that yet.
Right.
It seems like nothing now, but so I immediately started bugging my mom about getting a tattoo. Well, like when I was 14 years old, basically.
Dang, does she have any?
She does now. I tattooed her once I started.
Oh,
tattooing.
nice.
Yeah, she didn't then. But her whole thing was, you'll start to like pick up a theme about my mom. She was like, "Oh, I could totally see you with tattoos, but you're 14." No, you're 14. What are you talking about? But she got it because she came up around musicians too. Like like my 2 older brothers' dad was a recording engineer. Like she hung out around all of that, and tattoos were nothing new to her.
Right.
So she understood why I was attracted to him, but she's like, you're too young. It's just that simple. So every year on my birthday, I'd be like, what about now? And she'd be like, you're 1 year closer. So finally,
Mom sounds pretty rad.
Mom's rad. She's the best. I turned 17, and by that point, I had actually been working, part-time jobs, making some money, helping pay bills around the house, making my own money because I'm into guitar.
Yeah,
I need my money. So I've got good grades. I'm making some sort of income. I'm trying to be as helpful as possible, as much as a teenager is helpful around the house. And I turned 17. I'm like, how about now? And she's like, I don't see why not. So her one kind of like sticking point was like, I want to pick out the tattooer. because I'm an adult and you're still like a kid. So she
Okay.
did some research.
I like that.
Yeah, and absolutely. And she found the tattooer that she was comfortable with. She went and met him. She looked at his work. She's like, I found the guy that I'm comfortable tattooing my 17-year-old son. And she set up the appointment. I wanted this. I still got it right here. It's my first tattoo on my left forearm. It's a little skeleton jazz band. It's like 3 skeletons playing horns. And she, downtown Columbia, Missouri, she drove me up for my tattoo appointment and told me to get out, and she drove off. And that was it. And I went inside and got.
She didn't have to come sign a thing.
She did in advance, and that was it. And she's like, you wanted this. You're doing this. This is for you, and you go make this happen.
Were you stoked afterwards?
I was so stoked. I was so stoked. Well, because again, this doesn't seem like that big of a deal now in 2025, but this was like the late 90s. I was still in high school.
Yeah. Probably not too many kids in high school had.
Zero. And I went to Hickman High School, which is a huge high school. It's like 3,000 kids there. But I was 17. I looked like I was 12, like this Macaulay Culkin looking like dork. And I literally showed up to school with a tattoo that people were either just like really confused. Most of them thought it was fake.
Yeah.
It just was not common.
Any administrators, staff, anybody tried to say...
No one said anything about it.
Can't have that.
No, because I was otherwise like a really unassuming kid.
Okay.
Like I was never in trouble.
Did you and Mom ever... Were you guys always just...
Oh, of course I moved out the summer before my senior year of high school while she was at work because we were clashing for sure. Because
You're telling these stories and I'm like, God, I was a piece of shit.
No, I was a jerk.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was a 17-year-old boy.
Yeah,
for sure. No, I was a normal 17-year-old boy, and our dynamic was tough at around that time, 16 and 17, because she taught me how to be like independent and responsible and reliable and all of these things, and honestly like self-sufficient, a little ahead of the curve because she was a single mother, and she needed me to be that. But then of course that meant that I felt like I deserved freedoms that maybe I did, but like I was still too young for that to logistically make sense. So we have this like conflict of interest and a conflict of like logistics. It's like, I mean, you could do all these things, but like legally you're not even an adult yet.
Right.
So she's trying to like find this reasonable like middle ground where it's like you live under my roof and I'm responsible for you, but you're a little more mature than like your peers or what have you. So there was conflict there, like, and she was doing her best to like make it all work, and we would be at each other, not like knock down, drag out, but it was tough. Yeah. So to alleviate that problem, I just moved out, and I waited till she was at work one day, and I packed up a van with my friends, and I moved into a punk house close to the high school I was going to. Not at all. My little brother was there, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, cool." I was being so like indignant, and I left a note for her, and I was like, "Hey, as you can see, my room is empty. This is the house I just moved into with my friends. Here's the phone number. Call me if you like." Landline. Did not have a cell phone. Here's the number to the house I live in now. And yes, Aaron was here when I moved, and don't take this out on him. And that was the extent of the message I left her.
It's pretty thoughtful.
Yeah. No, it was like, I love my little brother. He's my dude. And he was innocent in the whole thing. He's just trying to like live his life. So I'm at this house moving my stuff in later that evening, and roughly around the time that she would be getting home from work, I get a phone call at the house, and my new roommate, I was like living with 6 or 7 people. It was like literally a punk house in walking distance from the high school, because the caveat to all this was I was fully intending to finish high school. I didn't do this to like skip out of high school.
Right.
Like I've been in school my entire life. I'm not going to like not finish high school, but I'm going to live on my own and on my own terms. So I get this phone call at this house, and my roommate's like, "It's your mother." It's like, okay. It's like,
are you the youngest of the 6?
No. Well, second youngest.
Second, yeah.
So I pick up the phone. I'm like, "Hi, Mom." And she was just like, "Michael?" I was like, "Yes." And she's like, "Are you okay?" It's like, "Yeah, I'm fine, Mom."
Has she always called you Michael?
No. Yeah, exactly.
Just right then.
Back then it was Mike. This was before Mikey. I've been Mikey since I was 15. That was more the first band. That's a whole other story.
Okay.
But yeah, she's like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I just felt like this is something I needed to do. And she's like, no, I get it. Well, if you need to do laundry or anything, you want to grab lunch, just give me a call. I'm here. And that was it. And we've been best friends ever since.
Never moved back in.
Never moved back in.
Wow.
Never once.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because she taught me how to do it, It kind of backfired on her. I left before she wanted me to, but yeah, that's kind of how that went. And
where are mom and younger brother right now?
my mom is, after moving around a couple times, she is now back in Columbia. She's a librarian at the library in the Columbia Public Library. Yep. And my little brother lives in Madison, Wisconsin with his family.
Fun town.
He's got a wife and 2 children. And
cool.
Yeah, Madison's awesome. My wife Megan and I are actually going to run up there next month in September to celebrate our 10-year wedding anniversary.
Okay. How did you two connect?
Met Megan at the previous tattoo shop we worked at, Mercy Seat.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
She also tattoos.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Great list. Thanks for sharing it with me.
Oh, sure.
If I say something later in my notes regarding the arc or the curve of your list, I've already gotten that answer.
Okay.
But immediately I'm like, wow, this is fascinating to see where it started and where it ends, and to be honest with you, how much time since the most recent album has passed. But if we can roll through them chronologically.
Sure, absolutely.
So, Rumors. Fleetwood Mac, February of 77. 11 of 16, 11 tracks, 39 minutes. Starting off in London, I have a very interesting relationship with this record in that in 94, going into 95, I was living in a small mountain town, and this couple would pick me up on the way to where they kind of like adopted me. I was, I got a job at the place they were working. That's how we met. And so they would pick me up every day and drop me off on their way home.
Cool.
And they were way into music, and so was I, and it was very cool. But he played for me a live in Chicago and a live in London Fleetwood Mac record from like 66 and 69. I think I still have my cassette dubs.
Like the Peter Green era.
I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And from that point on, I was like, I will die on the hill that Stevie Nicks ruined Fleetwood Mac, because look what happened. It's trash. However, since starting this, Rumors has made a couple of lists. I didn't need to listen to it because I knew mostly every track. But I just took the kids to Colorado for a week. Came back Sunday, and was doing this thing where like I chose a song, and then the algorithm would give me a similar-ish song, and I'd be like, I gotta listen to the record that album's on, because it's a good record. I know that record. So I was doing this for hours, and whatever record I was listening to, it dumped one of these songs. I was like, I got to put that album on, and it's just really good. Like, say what you will, it's just really good. But this is a mom influence, right?
And Uncle Jeff.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, this was ubiquitous. And if, like, gun to my head, this is the best album ever made.
Wow.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned.
Wow.
If I am accounting for everything that makes a music album a music album.
Okay.
Songwriting, musicianship, this lineup, and it's funny, like Stevie Nicks is really polarizing, right?
Yes.
I think she's brilliant.
Yeah.
Unconventional.
There are folks that say Christina was the better of the two.
She was the better vocalist by far.
Okay.
Yeah. Christy McVie is like the best musician in the band, arguably. But that's the thing about Fleetwood Mac, like total sum of its parts. You have like just like these elite musicians all contributing equally.
Yeah.
I mean, Mick Fleetwood is like the ultimate minimalist drummer. Like, he's not doing anything, but he's doing everything.
Sounds good though.
Yeah, and he's the leader of the band, kind of like the captain of the ship, if you will.
Yeah.
Lindsey Buckingham, obviously like an all-time guitar player. Really, really, again, unorthodox vocalist, which is the coolest thing about Fleetwood Mac. This is like considered like a legendary vocal band, but Christy McVie's like the only actual traditional singer in the entire
Huh.
band. But Lindsey was a really cool songwriter, and nobody plays guitar like that. He doesn't use guitar pick. Every single sound on a Lindsey Buckingham Fleetwood Mac recording is finger picking.
Wow, I didn't
including
know
the
that.
guitar solos.
Wow.
Yeah, never used a guitar pick ever.
That's crazy.
Which makes zero sense to me today. Like, I still can't wrap my head around that. Christy McVie, classically trained pianist and vocalist, really great songwriter, beautiful voice. And then, you got Stevie, who's, a one-of-a-kind songwriter. Like, really understands, like, songs. Like what is it about a song that, like, people relate to? And it has a voice that you can't even, like, mimic if you wanted to.
Right.
And then
unless you're making the South Park movie.
Exactly. Unless they really have a reason to do it. And then John McVie, one of the most underrated bass players of all time. Some of the things that people relate to the most in Fleetwood Mac music, and without even realizing it, are the bass lines. And he's just in there. He's constantly working, and he's constantly, like, the backbone of everything, locked in with Mick. And this album doesn't have a bad song.
No,
it's
not
just
at all.
It's like one after another. I've got my favorites, but it's flawless.
Yeah.
From front to back.
It really is.
Yeah.
I suppose part of why I was opposed to giving it the flowers it deserves was because I spent too much time in classic rock radio land, and just I've been fed a lot of these too many times where it's like, I can't loving you. I'm like, no,
sure.
I don't want you to love.
And I don't even put it on that often, probably for similar reasons.
Yeah.
But in my heart, it's number one.
Awesome. Okay, so we stay in 77 and we go to September, and I'm going to say a weird thing right now.
Okay.
This is Steely Dan's Asia, 6 of 9 for them, 7 tracks, 40 minutes from London to New York. 181 episodes.
Zero mentions of Steely Dan.
Zero Steely Dan albums making the list.
Zero Steely Dan, period.
Yeah.
You're talking to musicians.
Well,
that's wild to me.
So,
okay.
20 years in the restaurant industry, and so I had a healthy swath of friends and family and colleagues to reach out to get this off the ground. It just spilled into musicians. I didn't start this to be like, I'm going to interview musicians.
Okay.
So, like, some musicians, and then a few venue owners, and then I've had some artists, some photographers, a couple professors. I had a model recently. I have a Super Bowl champion up there that I just so happened to work with. But regardless of what the intention was, musicians and band members are probably the bulk of what I've done.
Yeah.
If you're doing a podcast about music, they're right there. So no Steely Dan records have made a list. So this, and I love Steely Dan. This might be my first sit-down album listen.
Okay.
Because I've just been given what I've been given over the years.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd have to check my cassette collection. I don't think I ever purchased any Steely Dan. For the longest time, they were like this mystery. Like, what is this cool?
Right.
But I don't know if I had an album of theirs. I don't know where I would put it in my music store shelf. Because they're just all over the place. I know that there are diehard Steely Dan fans, and I know that a lot of them love this record, so I was excited to listen to this, and it didn't disappoint. I've forgotten already. There's only 7 freaking tracks. Home, is there somewhere in the 3 to 4?
So you've got, it starts with Black Cow.
Okay, yep.
Go into the title track, Asia, and the Deacon Blues.
Yep.
Then you've got the song that people are fully aware of and familiar with, even if they don't know, Peg.
But I would say the same.
Radio,
Black Cow,
radio,
yeah.
Black Cow as well. Home at Last.
Home at Last
is what you were asking about.
Yes.
And then you get I Got the Blues and Josie. And
Okay.
that is the entirety of this album. Yeah.
I like the whole thing, but I had to pick my jaw up off the floor a few times in Home at Last. I was like, they're just killing it.
Yeah.
It is so good.
Yeah.
Like, I texted my biggest Steely Dan fan buddy, whatever. I can't believe I hadn't heard that song before.
It's incredible.
So Mom and Uncle Jeff feeding you the Steely.
This is maybe a little more Mom.
Okay.
Not to say Jeff didn't appreciate this. So this album, and it's funny because Asia is almost like a meme at this point. Like it's like it's much like a it's on classic albums, it's on all that stuff, but it's also kind of this is almost like the invention of like hipster culture, like this album. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's not my takeaway from it. It is another flawless album. The musicianship is unmatched. Like we're talking as elite as you can get with what's still technically pop music. I mean, it's jazz centric pop music, but that's what makes Steely Dan so big. Is like you got these jazz influenced and like jazz minded musicians. Primarily, you're talking about Donald Fagen and Walter Becker.
Yeah.
Prior to this album, they had like a band. Steely Dan was like a band, so it was like more conventional. And they would even tour and play shows. And they eventually decided they didn't like doing that, and they just kind of like dismissed the band.
Huh.
And it was Donald and Walter.
Wow.
And they became a studio band. And they didn't even play another show for like, I think 20-something years after that.
Wow.
If I'm correct. I actually got to see them at Starlight Theater the year before Walter Becker died. So
how long's he been gone?
Just a couple years,
Okay.
a few years.
Okay.
It was incredible. But the whole thing about Asia was this was kind of like their transition from the more radio friendly stuff, the Reelin' in the Years, and like the stuff that was like a little more rock. You could hear the jazz influence in there, but it was a little more like radio friendly stuff. Still incredible.
Yeah.
Like I love that music. But this album, this is where they really decided like where's the crossover between jazz and pop music to where like non-jazz fans would listen to this and relate to it, and where non-pop fans that typically listen to jazz can appreciate it too. Not to say that's why they made it, but that's what happened.
Yeah.
And what's really fascinating about Asia is I think there's like 20 something musicians on this album. So what they did, 7 songs, they basically shacked up at a recording studio in New York for a year. They hired all the best session players they could get their hands on. All of them. Bernard Purdy, like you name it. Drummers, bass players, guitar players. And for every single song on this album, those studio musicians would essentially audition. So they come in on a Monday and they'd say, we're working on Black Cow today. So this group of musicians is going to like record this song. And then they come in on Tuesday. We're playing Black Cow today. This group of musicians is going to record this song. And they just did that and did that and did that for 7 songs until they picked by hand each musician for each part for each song. And that's what's on the album.
That's too much in terms of 2 points here. The person that mixes and masters needing to be fresh of mind to hear the things that need to be heard and to know what's missing, what needs tweaking. You do that for a little while, you got to step away. Refresh. It's like talking to my boy about free throws. There's fitness and weights and things that his coach wants him to work on, but as part of his home workout around the world, 5 spots, 20 shots, and then he backs up a few steps and 20 shots from and then 30 free throws and layups. And whenever he's in a pocket of frustration in free throw land, I'm like, dude, you have to reset after every shot.
Yeah.
You can't think about it. Don't bend your knees before you're ready, because now you're asking your body to support weight in a weird way that you wouldn't be until you're ready to do the whole motion.
Yeah.
But wipe the hard drive. So I can't. How? That is so much tape to go over.
It's insane.
That's crazy.
It's insane. And I mean, Fagen and Becker did the majority of the mixing themselves with a recording engineer. Like the recording engineer is like moving sliders and turning knobs, but like they knew exactly what they were looking for. I think on Peg, Peg's got this really cool, really unique guitar solo. Well, 6 other guitar players recorded that solo the way they wanted to play it. And
Yeah.
they go, nope,
This one.
yours is on the album.
So here's the other thing. I saw a TikTok just a couple days ago. Here's why Steely Dan's music is so cool, and the image is a bar, a sheet music, the
Staff.
staff. Thank you. And I don't know, melodies and arpeggios and scales and all this stuff. I just don't.
Sure.
But they're like, okay, so in this triad of notes, it's like C, D, blah, 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 and that is called this thing. But what they do is instead of that on that third note, they do some kind of I don't remember the term.
Yeah.
And then they go on and play like clips from 5 or 6 different Steely. It's very well put together, articulate, intelligent. I don't understand what the hell he's talking about, and I can't hear it in any of the clips. And so I just scroll on because I'm like, this is too smart for me. I like my Steely Dan simplified,
Right,
right. Wild.
It's incredibly strange. It's obsessive compulsive. It's manic, but deliberate. It's everything. It's everything. I relate to it because it's kind of how I think of writing and composing and appreciating music too. I'm not saying I write anything like what Steely Dan writes, but like their processes and what they're the choices they're making over other choices and the reasons that they do it. It's all for a result, and it's all for a specific goal, even if they don't even necessarily know what that is in advance.
Until they get there.
They know when they're there, and they know when they're not there.
The proverbial method to the madness.
And they're not afraid of taking a year to make a 7-song album, if that's what it
39
takes.
minutes.
It's 39 minutes
whatever.
long. They spent a year making a 39-minute record.
I did not get that chip, coming out of the factory.
I don't have the luxury or the finances
Right.
or the time to do that,
Yeah.
but I can appreciate doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to take 5 real quick.
Please.
Asia. Incredible. What's next for me to check out in the world of Steely Dan?
Pretzel Logic's great.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd say that's next.
So we leave our 2 1977 pals and the strangeness of no Steely Dan records, having made a list until now. And we go to 1989 and Faith No More, and a Faith No More record has made a list, and maybe twice.
Okay.
But not the real thing.
Okay. Sure.
Angel Dust.
Okay, so it was a toss-up for me.
Okay.
It was a toss-up.
This one's, let's see here. 3 of 7, 9 tracks, 43 minutes. We've gone New York to San Francisco, keeping the rock thing going. Angel Dust, as I've mentioned. But the record that gave us Epic has not made a list until now. Toss-up for you between those two?
Between those two.
Okay.
Angel Dust is my favorite.
Oh.
But the real thing is more important.
Ooh.
So like
Do tell.
That's kind of like the thing about making this list. The list concept is impossible, so I'm doing my best. But
I've said this before.
yeah.
A gentleman, Kyle Maggart, episode 155. He owns Brothers Music KC record store, and they also sell like toys and games. We were rapping, and he was like, "What's yours?" And I was like, "What's my what?" And he was like, "Your list." And I was like, "Dude, no way. I don't have to because I sit here."
Exactly.
But I did. That's not fully true. I did start it one night just for grins, and I was like, "Dude, it's on a Post-it note in my kitchen." If he's like, "Show me now."
Yeah.
So we went up there, and it's 37 records because I was like, "Well, these have to, and so do these, and so do these, and so do these." And I was like, "I'm out of room instantly." Yeah. So yes.
Yeah, my top 5 when you asked was like, how can I cover as much ground that like directly influences me as possible in 5 albums? So that's really what this is. So Angel Dust to me is my favorite of the two for a multitude of reasons. Real Thing to me is more important because we're talking like 89 going into 90, and this isn't the only band that did this, but they kind of like really pulled the 80s into the 90s. They bridged that gap sonically. The sound of the music, like nothing sounded like this. Nothing at all. No one wrote songs like this. No one approached the rhythm section in this manner, the way like Billy and Mike do. Is completely unconventional, really odd, but like really driving and really heavy, and with no concern about how people are accustomed to listening to rock music. They didn't care at all. But there's still like really traditional rock elements in it, and then you've got the Mike Patton of it all, which is a completely different podcast conversation.
I mean, initially, well, I've had some episodes. I think that initially I was asking folks, like, when this was, space was being built and I'm buying gear and figuring shit, I think I'm asking folks, what's your top, So there's some episodes where it's just one. There's some episodes where it's two. I can't remember. It might have been episode 45 with Mark McCaffrey, who had Mr. Bungle.
Sure.
And that was and I put it on to get ready. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
I think that's the point of the record.
That's the point of the record, yeah.
And it's just 4 and 5 times within a song.
Oh, yeah.
Well, now I got it. Well, now I don't. Mm-hmm. Anyway, the Mike Patton.
The Mike Patton of it all. I mean, he's been in like 30-something bands. They all sound completely different. He covers a lot of ground. And he's like the most versatile and powerful voice in contemporary rock music, as far as I'm concerned. But his place in Faith No More and what he did to the band, he wasn't the original vocalist.
Oh, okay.
This was the first album with Mike. And the songs, I mean, there's the song everyone knows called Epic. There's far more epic songs on this album than the song called Epic. It's
But boy, were we giving that one
yeah.
heavy doses.
Absolutely. And I love that song. That song's like another kind of like a joke song to many, polarizing to say the least. But I think there's really cool and really important things happening in that song. But the musicianship is always number one for me. Like what's being accomplished by the musicians, to what extent, on what caliber is going on. The guitar work, it's very much rooted in classic guitar. The metal influences are there. I love metal at my core. Have been in a couple metal bands, as we previously discussed. But they also venture into like really quiet, really delicate moments, and they continue to do this through the records and in a lot of different ways. They even get into like kind of like really subtle electronic stuff on some later on.
Really?
Like the spectrum of Faith No More's music. This album in particular is maybe the most streamlined of all their albums.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
they get into some wild territory, and they're one of the only bands that I can really think of that weave in and out of genres seamlessly and still sound like, not only sound like the same band, but it's appropriate that it's the same band doing it. I was saying before, like when me and my friends write slightly different music, we'll usually just start a new band and like call it something different because it's like it's so vastly different than this other thing we were doing. Faith No More has this like really unique quality where they can just kind of do whatever, and it makes sense under the Faith No More banner.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like, well, Metallica comes out with Load in the 90s. It's like, I'm not even against this music, but this isn't Metallica. Why don't you just call it something different? Of course, like when you're that big, you call it Metallica because it sells records. It wouldn't make sense for
right.
them. But the point is, if you're just talking about the music, this is a different project at this point. Not with them. They can do kind of anything.
Yeah.
And Mr. Bungle honestly kind of functions the same way.
Yeah.
I'm not as big of a fan of that band, but this has some of my music, some of my favorite music I've ever heard on it. Angel Dust is even the next evolution of that.
Okay.
They're kind of like sister albums to me. They're two sides of the same coin.
89 and Angel Dust is out.
Like 91 or 92.
I was going to say 2 years later.
Yeah.
What was the show? Was it the MTV Music Awards where they did a live performance of Epic?
Epic, yeah.
Where Mike flops.
Like a fish?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Was that drugs?
No.
That was just Mike?
He's just weird, man.
Okay.
He's a weird
Well,
dude.
he's in that video. He's,
yeah. He's just weird.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's ever really been like a drug issue with him that that I recall hearing about. He's just really out there, and he's a performer, consummate weirdo. They kind of have a reputation for kind of being assholes.
Oh.
But not in like a malicious way. Just kind of they were really really strange, really unique musicians that were in on whatever their joke was, and they got really huge really fast.
Yeah.
And they're all over MTV. And
Yeah.
they're being interviewed everywhere.
Yeah.
And as we've seen historically, some musicians are wired to kind of like handle that part of the job gracefully and with dignity, and others are like petulant children, and that you don't put a microphone in front of their face and expect anything good to come of it. So they were kind of more of that.
Yeah.
There's some rowdy kids from San Francisco, you know.
Speaking of 2 years later, 1991, Spiderland by Slint.
Yes.
Second of two, 6 tracks, 39 minutes. Louisville, Kentucky, pioneer of post-rock and math rock. Never heard of these guys. I know absolutely nothing about them, so please give me the lowdown.
This is another top 10 album all time. Obviously, I listed in my top 5.
Yeah.
So I might as well say top 5. Maybe the most influential and important album based on like the music I make myself. Again, I'm not saying I make music that sounds anything like this.
Right.
But this is the Bible. This is it.
Cool.
This is it. It has just as much to do with how little material this band actually put out as it is like the material they did.
You've touched on this several times unintentionally, but there's a number of reasons why I do this, and one of them is the notion of the album, especially in the 70s, where companies are sending dudes on planes to towns to go out and listen to live music. And hey, if you hear something cool, maybe we sign them. Maybe they make a record. To go from my brother plays saxophone, play guitar, to that first band, to put it to recording an album. So much happens, and specifically then, because today, you have the space, you can make a record in your basement.
Sure.
Somebody at Element who will do stuff for you. But back then, those companies that are sending dudes on planes to find artists and outfits, then pony up to put them in a studio. It's a lot of money, and whether it's domestic or marital or substance or personality, lots of friction can happen.
Yeah.
You're choosing the song list, the track list, how long those songs are, album artwork, and at the end of the day, it's all said and done. You present this to the world who can put their money down and have a version of it, right?
Correct.
And I love that, and I don't, again, while I am very much get off my lawn old man, I don't want that to die. I don't want the world to just it only lives digitally, and everybody's just dropping singles and blah blah blah, because I love the album.
Yeah.
And having a relationship with a collection of songs, and how the way that you view album art, cover art, shifts from like, that's a weird black and white, just their faces. Mm-hmm. Now, I bet you look at that image and you're like, I love this picture so much.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it's really important. I use the word important a lot, and that can come across as like pretentious or just like self-serving
not to
or whatever. But that's a huge part of the equation for like any of this stuff. Like there's plenty of music I listen to that's just fun.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think it's important.
Right.
But as a musician who like writes music and makes music and is influenced, and it's like a central part of my like life experience, some of this is really important. And this Slint Spiderland is, I can't think of another album that's more important to me.
And it lands in your lap initially how?
This started circulating around me and my friends, like when we were like late teens, early 20s. This group of musicians from Louisville, Kentucky, they were just kids. They were like 19 when they made this album, like 1920. They made an album before it called Tweez that was actually recorded by Steve Albini, who's a more prominent recording engineer. Obviously worked with everybody, Jesus Lizard, Nirvana, you name it. So they made their first album with him.
Didn't like Fish, so Steve Albini
did not like Fish. He does not like Fish. He wouldn't like anything that sounds like Fish.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Steve Albini. So they made this album with Albini called Tweez, and it's some really cool songs, but it was like the debut album of a new band of essentially children who had been in other bands prior to that when they were even more so children in a town like Louisville, Kentucky in the 80s. You want to talk about like you either do this or like you're hanging out at the train tracks. And these kids find each other and they start rehearsing in their drummer's parents' basement. There's some videos of them writing the Spiderland material. And there's a really, really incredible documentary that I would encourage anyone to watch called The Breadcrumb Trail.
Oh, isn't that the opening track?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So there's a documentary titled The Breadcrumb Trail that details the entire history of Slint as a band, but very much the process that went into Spiderland. And some handheld camera footage from this basement of these like kids, just literally kids, like practicing 8 hours a day.
Wow.
Playing the same part for an hour at a time.
Little Steely Dan's in the making.
Like, kinda. Like, and I was talking about Faith No More as a bunch of weirdos. Like, these kids.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. One of the Fish biographies, early mid-2000s, I think, came out. It's fascinating. Just so fascinating. And so many cool parts, like the sound dude, when they started out, they were all just in a van with all their stuff and they had to do it all. And the dude, and they would always, from day one, any money goes right back in for gear. You know? And so this dude's like, I used to dream of the day where I could say, for this tour, we're taking trailers 11, 19, and 6. And he's saying that they got there, right?
Yeah.
Near the end of it, there's a section with Trey, and the interviewer asks him, "What are you listening to like right now?" And he's like, and again, this is like early mid 2000s. I can't stop listening to this record by this group called MGMT. It's just like they just don't care at all. They're just, and here's a song, and now there's footage. Have you seen this footage?
I think
of them playing their first gig, and they're like on
in a backyard somewhere.
Yeah, they're just going crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah, that's very much this band's background. They didn't play that many shows. They weren't around very long. They got back together. I want to say like it was 2006 that I went to Chicago to see them at the Metro. Did
you get on a plane for that?
No, me and my friends drove.
Nice.
Like we drove there.
Road trip for a show is nuts.
It was at the Metro in Chicago. The place was completely packed, full of people who never, ever thought they would see Slint live.
Everybody's jazzed.
They came out, and the thing about this album that is really remarkable, especially considering these were children that wrote this album at the time, it is so patient and so quiet until it's not. But it's a kind of like this exploration of like really minimalist, borderline avant-garde, atonal songwriting that's like really eerie and really thoughtful and really dissonant and really powerful. The maturity of the compositions surpasses their like in people, like we're talking about like Rumors as like the sum of the parts, right?
Yeah,
it's like you got these fully formed musicians, adults, who are all in relationships that are falling apart at the time, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah,
these are like kids that tapped into something far beyond themselves, and this is what came out. And to listen to this and understand that like these weren't even 20-year-olds, like late 80s going into 1990 that accomplished this. So to see them as older adults play this at the Metro in Chicago, and they came out to a completely packed room, sold out.
Anybody else on the bill with them?
Some band I'd never heard of.
Okay.
as that would go. And we kind of like, we all just sat through it because we're not there for that.
Yeah.
And they come out to like huge applause, and they're very private, very quiet people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the Breadcrumb Trail is amazing because they managed to talk to all of them, and they're very candid about everything. But you can tell they're not like, they're not the most social people. They come out this sold out, packed room and start with the quietest song they've ever written, and we're talking like single chords, and like you could hear a pin drop. There was probably 1,000 people in that room, and it was silent because it's just that many people, like all there for the exact same reason. No one's talking about the party last night. It was just, everybody just kind of entered this place together. And then when they get loud, they get loud. And then they got loud. And it was just like, I don't know, like my skeleton left my body. Like I felt and you can kind of see it on everybody's faces. Like, this shouldn't be happening. I can't believe we're like watching this. So the entirety of everything this is, as much as everything it isn't. That's why Spiderland is important. Yeah.
What have these cats been up to since?
All sorts of weird stuff.
Music related?
So the guitar player, one of the two guitar players, David Pajo, has been in all sorts of stuff.
Okay.
He was in that Zwan band with Billy Corgan once upon a time. I'm gonna blank on all of his many endeavors. He was. I should pull up a list of his.
They're all alive and well and in the
Yeah,
business.
absolutely. David Pajo has been a consistent musician on all sorts of stuff. Like he's probably the most prolific of all of them. The drummer was on like a couple Breeders records, but like under like a stage name. Like no one even knew it was him. I want to say like he did something weird where like when Slint was done, he just moved to New York and like started like baking erotic cakes or something like that. That's the kind of people we're talking about here. And then like the original bass player, he quit and like just like worked at a factory in Louisville and like never left town. It's like we're not talking about rock stars here at all. David Pajo's the closest to like a professional musician in the traditional sense,
right?
And everybody else just kind of went their separate ways.
Wow.
And
what a trip!
Very fascinating.
Cool. Yeah. So we'll go to 1995 with Slaughter of the Soul at the Gates.
There we go.
Fourth of 7, 11 tracks, 34 minutes. London, New York to San Francisco. Quick stop in Louisville. And we end with Swedish death metal.
Correct.
Tell me about your discovery of this album. And I mentioned the sort of, I have all the pieces now, right?
Right.
But I mean, like, Rumors is not Slaughter of the Soul.
No, it's quite opposite.
And we took some interesting steps to get there. And sure. I know the top 5 is, it's tough. Hey, come talk to me about you and some of your music. And let's talk for 6 hours so that we can talk about all your favorite albums.
Right.
You got to somehow.
Yeah, I'd be here a week.
Yeah.
Sure. This is me trying to cover as much ground as possible.
Fair.
In a little cross section here. This is my favorite metal album of all time.
Okay.
And there's a lot of them, but this is number 1, and it's not even close, really, like at the end of the day. So this is a band from Gothenburg, Sweden. They made this in the mid-90s, and they basically kind of started the Swedish thrash metal movement. They were operating originally around the same time In Flames was, which is another really, really prominent, actually became much more famous, more popular on a mainstream level band from the exact same town. Gothenburg, Sweden kind of like bred a lot of like pretty important heavy hardcore metal music. It's just there's those spots, there's those places in the world where it's just like there's something going on there.
Something in the water.
Something in the water. So Gothenburg, Sweden is one of those places. What I love about this album and about this band in general, because this is another scenario where this band put out a few albums, packed it up, went their separate ways, did other metal projects, and then 20 years later, like, no, let's do it again. And came back together. And,
what?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And they're still active now.
Okay.
In fact, their vocalist, they've slowed down a little bit recently because their vocalist is struggling with cancer right now, which is really sad. So we have to see what kind of, if anything, follows that. But he was able to record his vocals for a new album they're just getting ready to put out before he started chemo treatments and stuff like that. But I got to see them twice in the past few years.
What venues?
I saw them at the Truman here in Kansas City.
Cool. Good
and
room.
I saw them at the Granada in Lawrence.
Oh, another great room.
So
They're nasty.
Yeah, and at the Granada, they played this album in its entirety.
Ooh, did you know that going in?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I did.
Okay.
And what was really amazing was, so this album has very specific album artwork. I'm not going to describe it via podcast. Anyone who wants to check it out, At the Gates, Slaughter of the Soul. But we walked in, and all the stuff is set up. You know, they had some, I think, municipal waste open for them, which was really fun. But they had At the Gates, huge banner, like filled the back of the stage. But it's just like an At the Gates banner. It's like nothing in particular. It had artwork on it, but it wasn't this. And we're here for Slaughter of the Soul. And they come out, and then they play like maybe 6 or 7 new songs, like, because they put out a few albums over the past few years, and they're playing some new material, and it's great. I mean, they still write great songs, awesome albums. They never stopped writing good music, which made their reunion and choosing to write new music very cool, because they've always had a sound. They've never veered from it. It's like, you better like thrash drums.
Faith No More. And then
At the Gates is the polar opposite.
Yeah.
Like, this is what At the Gates sounds like every album. And they still cover a lot of ground, but it's like they make a certain type of metal. If you want different, you need to listen to a different band. So they come out and play a bunch of new songs, and they're awesome. But everybody's like, we know what you're doing here. Like, what? So they finish, say, song 6 or 7, and then all the lights go out, and you start getting like strobing on the stage.
Whoa. And
then they go black again, and you get more strobing, and the banner that was back there had dropped, and then there's the Slaughter of the Soul artwork banner. It was behind it the whole time. And then they started from the beginning and played the entire album, one song after another. And it was kind of like a Slint experience. It's like, we shouldn't be seeing this. This is insane.
Privilege.
Yeah, it's another flawless record. If you like this kind of music, there is not a weak link. And it is relentless. It's brutal. Melodically, it's incredibly sophisticated.
Wow.
And that's the amazing thing about this particular type of thrash metal. Some of my all-time favorite guitar melody concepts, guitar harmonies, guitar structure is present on this album.
Okay.
So you get this amazing juxtaposition between this like almost unending grind of the drums. I mean, it's like, with very few exceptions, but in a way that's still like really pleasant to listen to.
Yeah.
If you like that sort of thing.
Right.
He'll break into a rock beat on occasion. He'll break into a halftime beat on occasion, but it's every song. But what's going on top of that is this just incredibly mindful arrangement of guitar and bass concepts. And what's really fun about it is, somebody who's unfamiliar or hasn't spent a lot of time with like thrash metal, it can be really jarring and really unappetizing to listen to, because most people start with the beat when they listen to music. They start with the drums. Like, if they can't nod their head to it, they can't dance to it,
right.
They can't tap their foot to it, there's nothing there for them, which I can understand. I can appreciate that. I mean, traditionally music has a hook and a pocket, and everything else on top of that is like the layers.
Your song needs to be 3 minutes and 45 seconds, sir.
Yeah, and you need to dance.
Be thinking of the video.
What's going on here is you have this grinding drum beat, but if you've heard it enough and you're acclimated to it and you understand what's really going on there, especially with the guitars, there's a hook in there. So when you go to a show like this, you see a lot of people trying to like move to it, and they just don't know. They can't find it, and it just sounds like noise. But I can go to an At the Gate show and just like, I know where that pocket is, regardless of this that's going on. And if you can find the pocket with this music, nothing hits harder than this.
Okay.
And it's catchy. It's like, it's suspiciously catchy. What the other kind of polarizing and grating thing about it are the vocals. It's something you have to acclimate to. Tomas is a shouter. He's a screamer. And there is kind of like a misunderstanding about metal vocalists to the, I'm not going to say untrained ear, because that's like a pretentious thing to say, but to somebody who doesn't spend a lot of time with this kind of music, it just sounds like yelling.
Right.
It's like, oh, anybody can yell. Not like this. You can't. This kind of performance with your vocals, what they're actually doing, has way more in common with opera singing than than traditional singing.
sure.
It's voice control. It's diaphragm control. Yeah.
1,000%, and it's energy, and it's posture, and it's positioning.
It's everything.
And if you do it wrong, you're going to injure yourself.
Yeah, and it's going to sound terrible.
Yeah.
What these guys are actually doing, the ones that do it well, that takes more training than traditional singing. It's incredible.
Yeah, Steve Perry. Dick.
Yeah, try that. Love Steve Perry. But that's the point. So like if you understand what's really going on in the music and can get past how abrasive it can be, you're listening to something more akin to classical music than pop music. It's modern classical music.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you a sober dude?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I like a cocktail.
Okay.
But no, I don't. I do not traditionally.
Yeah, I don't think you've said a curse word since you.
Oh, that's wild. I curse all the time.
Do you really?
Maybe I'm trying to be on good behavior.
Okay.
Because this is being recorded.
Will Mom hear this?
Oh, for sure.
Okay. What's her name?
Debra Wheeler.
Debra. We got to give shouts out to Debra.
Absolutely.
She raised a good dude.
Thank
I mean, I'm assuming your
Thank
brothers are good people too, but I haven't met them yet. So
I would agree with that. Yeah.
seriously, like very impressed. You're super articulate, and I'm just. It's nice to see the results of somebody trying to raise a good human.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
This is an awesome list. I appreciate it. Did you stay all the way through, Steve's?
I did.
Okay,
I did.
so no surprise to you. We got to do 5 goofy questions again.
Absolutely.
Okay, so number 1 is coffee with anyone of your choosing, dead or alive. Who's it going to be and why?
Oh my God. Anybody?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to say something profound that actually
You're
matters.
supposed to say what comes to your mind and resonates with your heart.
I already spent an evening with Lemmy once.
Okay.
So he's off the list.
Okay.
He otherwise might have been. Wow. I'm going to eat up a lot of time thinking about the perfect answer to this. I would say Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh, you are speaking.
Yeah. He's the GOAT. Is it.
Yes.
I love film. I love movies. My mom was a huge DDL fan. Let's use the abbreviation. That's fun to do. So I started seeing his movies really young. Like Last of the Mohicans was like we were kids. Yeah, exactly. Michael Mann. I've always appreciated great actors. I've always appreciated great movies, directors. Later, like you start to understand how important directors are on later. Like that's not as flashy as like the leads or whatever and the cinematographers. So as I got older, I started to understand all the things that went into like this thing I'm witnessing, and I love movies. And I've got my favorites. Daniel Day-Lewis is in a completely different tier, all by himself. He just came out of retirement to do a new film.
No.
Yeah, he wrote a screenplay with his son, who's directing a movie he's going to be in. First movie since Lincoln, right? Like 7 years.
Yeah,
or something like
yeah.
That. So.
Just before you got here, I was watching a TikTok. I don't know this film, but it starts with Ben Affleck in one of his just doesn't get any Boston or.
So the town.
He goes. Let me ask you a question. Who the fuck do you think you are? And the person he's talking to is like clipping flowers. And he's like, I clipped your father. Be careful, I'll clip you. And he says something like, there's 2 ways to castrate, and one's chemical, one's with a blade. And I did it to your dad the chemical way by doping up your mom. And you were this tiny little kid running around wondering where's mom. Well, she's dead because she's an addict, and now I know where you live. Crazy.
Yeah.
And there's a big dude that like cocks a shotgun as soon as he's doing this he's getting him angry on purpose.
Right.
And when he gets to the acme where he might react, the dude, don't forget that I'm back here.
Yeah.
And the dude that is telling him this, I'm pretty sure is Giuseppe from In the Name of the Father.
Oh, okay.
Because I was like, it's Giuseppe.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Great. Well, that's the thing. Like Daniel Day-Lewis is, was it called 9? Was that one's? But otherwise,
I don't know if I know that one.
Yeah, it was like a musical he was in.
Oh yeah, I probably wouldn't check that out.
He's otherwise batting 1,000. Like he's got a very, very short resume.
I
and
don't
he
know
doesn't miss.
to this day what to do with There Will Be Blood.
Oh, love it.
I don't. It took me a long. Like I loved Gangs of New York
Yeah.
immediately, but I hated that he was who he was.
Oh, sure.
Just fucking vile, evil.
Yeah.
But I'm drawn to it.
Oh, yeah.
And then, but I can. It's like the Steely Dan. I know what that is.
Sure.
Over here, what?
Yeah.
What is that? I don't.
There Will Be Blood is a mess.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I don't know that I've done more than one full view. And I know that's crazy to say, but it's like, okay, where's the mom? And this boy goes deaf, right, from this explosion. And then the pastor is here. And then there's like another pastor, like twin brother kind of something or other. And all the while, he just gets more and more deranged. And it's like, I don't know what to focus on because this is bonkers.
Yeah.
I recognize that it's amazing, but I need a manual and some pointers,
absolutely.
please.
It's one of those films that's like, obviously, like the emphasis is the performances, and sometimes it's that simple. Sometimes a director will make a film where like the plot is, you don't want to say not important.
Secondary.
It's secondary. It's deliberately vague. It's deliberately sparse. It's just a framework for these character studies.
Yeah.
That you see these personalities and kind of like the angles, the facets of these characters reflected against each other and exchanges with each other that you otherwise wouldn't experience. And that's oftentimes what you get with Daniel Day-Lewis. Like he'll be in a movie where the plot is very, very clear. Like Last of the Mohicans is like an action movie.
How is it that you're heading west and there's a wall going on?
Right.
Well, I head north for a little bit and then real sudden, like, hang a left.
Yeah, and he's been in a lot of different types of westerns. It's kind of like that. Last of the Mohicans is a western in a less traditional sense. Good. And so is There Will Be Blood, but in a completely different way. And you borderline almost say that about Gangs of New York. Just because they take place in different geographic locations doesn't mean like at their core they're not westerns, right? So he oftentimes finds himself in the middle of that. But like at the end of the day, if Daniel Day-Lewis is in your movie, you get out of the way, and whoever he's tasked to portray in that film, he's going to pull you into it, and you can't look away. And he is that person. I mean, that's the other thing. He's like famously like a true method actor.
Yeah. Which people want to trash.
Well, people want to trash it when Jared Leto says he's a method actor. Daniel Day-Lewis is a like actual respectable method actor, to the point where I think at one of his Oscar speeches he commended his wife for living with like multiple different men over the course of their relationship, because when he's making a film, he is that person.
Yeah.
Whether they're shooting or not. So.
I gave My Left Foot an obligatory view back in the heyday of my fondness for this man.
Sure.
But I was just doing it to say that I've seen it.
Sure.
So I don't think that I have anything of value to say about that film. Do you?
It's another incredible performance. It's a really good movie. I definitely appreciate that there's things about it that maybe didn't age great. And it's like... anybody who has seen it knows probably what I'm getting at. There was a little bit of controversy that he was hired to play a disabled person.
But what year are we talking?
It was a long time ago.
It was a different world.
It was a different world, absolutely. So, but even then, there was some controversy about that, because he is, again, tasked with playing a person with a handicap that he himself doesn't in reality have.
Physical and mental.
Physical and mental. And
hits it out of the park.
100%, because he's Daniel Day-Lewis. So the thing is, he's without any exception, a truly remarkable and exceptional human. He's a kind and
I've read that,
an amazing.
for sure.
He's an amazing person. So he by nature is not somebody who would ever take advantage of anybody or anything, or try to do harm, or do anything that's not in good taste or not for a good reason. Or at least
My Left Foot, Mohicans, Name of the Father, Gangs of New York, There Will Be Blood, Lincoln.
Unbearable Lightness of Being.
I don't think I've seen that.
Oh my God. I saw that when I was way too young. That was Mom going, I'll tell you when to close your eyes. But this movie is incredible. And
Okay. What else are we forgetting?
The Boxer.
Ooh. I don't know if I've seen that either.
That's a good start.
Yeah.
That's a good start. Yeah.
That's your coffee date. I'm envious.
Yeah.
That's a good one. If we can pretend or imagine that we all have a personal and a professional bucket list.
Mm-hmm.
You're given all the necessary resources to go knock out your number one on each of those lists. What are those number ones?
Professional. With tattooing, I've done everything I care to do professionally.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to have your own spot.
So I work with a collective of friends that I consider family, and I love all of them.
Great.
I work with my wife. I work with really, really close friends that I consider family. And as far as like a tattoo shop full of tattooers, it's about the most mature and responsible and respectful place you're going to find.
This is the
Windhorse.
Windhorse. Okay.
I've known them all for a very long time. They're all amazing people.
Cool.
That I care very much about. And that's just it. If you're going to work in a collective of tattooers doing the same job in a space, sharing a space, and being considerate of each other, like you're not going to do better than Windhorse. At my nature, at my core, like there's a part of me that's more comfortable like tattooing in the quiet by myself. Like I could see myself tattooing just in a studio by myself. On the days where I'm there by myself, it's really nice.
That happens?
No. On occasion it does. I work a lot, so there's occasions where that does happen. But I'm those just two different sides of me. Like I like time to myself. I like the quiet. I don't get a lot of it, so maybe that has a lot to do with that. So,
okay.
But no, as far as tattooing, like I'm booked out 8 months to a year.
Dang.
Most of the time. I've got loyal clients. I'm always making new clients.
That's
I
awesome.
stay very busy. I want for nothing when it comes to tattooing. Music, I never, even early on, before I had a family and before all of that, I never really intended to make a career out of music.
Okay.
I always wanted it to be something I got to do with my friends who were like my other family. And I always wanted to make the music that I was inspired to make with them. And I say like with my friends, with them, because I'm not particularly motivated to make music by myself. It's very like, I feel very communal about that. Like it's so much more rewarding when I'm like contributing part of a collaboration, whatever that might be. And I always just, whatever it was, whatever time, year after year, as we like kind of grow as musicians and are inspired to do slightly different things. I just wanted to be able to do that with my friends and enjoy it, and without it coming with all of these expectations or you have to be on tour, you have to be in the studio, you have to do this, you have to do that. So
Non-tattoo artist Mikey, non-musician Mikey, anything?
Well, as you might have figured out at the beginning of our conversation, before any of that, I wanted to play in the NBA.
Ah, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And that was never going to happen.
Okay.
So the writing was on the wall when I showed up for tryouts first year of high school. I held my own through junior high. I was a good shooting guard, could shoot threes. I was a good long distance shooter.
Oh, nice.
Had decent handles. Not necessarily like a point guard type, but I could make space and get a shot off. And then I showed up to high school in the same body I had, and then like everybody over the summer turned into like athletes, and it was very clear to me, it's like, oh, you're the guys who are gonna actually go do this. Maybe I spend more time with guitar now.
Yeah.
It's like it was
clear. Hoop a little bit.
I really don't get shots up much anymore. I'm very selfishly hoping I can like coax my now 3-year-old daughter into like hey, you want to come play horse with me?
Right.
Any context where I could just like shoot some baskets
Sweet.
would
Do you
be
have
enough.
a hoop at home?
We have a really nice park directly across the street from our house
Sweet.
with like a brand new basketball.
Sweet.
Hoop. So yes,
Do you watch any stand-up comedy?
Regularly.
Shane Gillis. You know this dude?
I'm familiar.
Okay.
I'm familiar.
He's got a bit where, having that dream and then seeing somebody dunk in 8th grade, and you're like, oh, okay. I guess I'll just D you up in gym class for the next 4 years.
Exactly. Yeah.
Forget about that.
Totally. You just gotta be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're given the ability to visit your past self at any age of your choosing. What age are you choosing, and what are you saying?
That's a really interesting question. I don't have any like points in my life experience where
Scotty P, no regrets.
kinda.
This is not supposed to be. I haven't figured out the way to ask this question.
Yeah.
It's
No, I
not
know-
supposed to be cloaked in regret.
I know exactly
And you're
what
not
you're
changing you,
Right.
but sometimes is a little.
I would go back to like, I guess when we first moved to Columbia, we were like really poor. We were living in like government housing. Like, I don't think I had a bed till I was 12. Like we slept on like fold out mats and stuff like that. We didn't have a couch. We had books. We had a library, but we didn't have anything.
Shouts out to Debra.
Yeah. And it didn't matter at all because our family was awesome. And I made friends. And when we really cared about something, she made it happen. And I just like, it was hard because I'd like make friends and I would like go to their houses and they had like houses
and stuff.
and they had like 2 cars. I was like, why do you need 2 cars? We barely have a car that works. Like all that stuff, all the excess, all of the like traditional nuclear family dynamics and like material and all that stuff was so foreign to me because that's not how we lived at all. And I just kind of like look around and be like, man, you guys are like rich or something. Like, I don't even know, like, what does that mean?
Is that for when the other car breaks?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, like I had a friend named Sydney in elementary school, we lived in a really nice house in Columbia. And then they invited me to come with them one weekend to their lake house at the Lake of the Ozarks. And I didn't know really what that meant. And we went down there and they had an entire other house, just as nice as their Columbia house, with like a Corvette in the garage and a boat, and it was like just their lake house. And I was like, so wait, I don't understand. Like,
Whose house is
this? And they're like, oh, this is our other house. So we just come here a few times a year. I'm like, what about the rest of the time? It's like it just sits here. I'm like, so I had to like really like as a kid like wrap my head around the difference between like how I grew up and how like somebody like Sydney grew up. And then I'm sitting here today. And I'm like, I'm really glad I grew up the way I did. So I just tell that kid, it's like, it doesn't at all matter whose life you're looking at around you. Just appreciate like the one you have,
Good stuff, man. You're familiar with this one-time television program, Fear Factor?
Familiar, sure. I don't think I ever saw it, but
Early reality TV,
Yeah.
lay in
Let's
the
eat some
coffin with the
cockroaches
spiders.
and
Yeah.
some- yeah.
Win a prize.
yeah.
This is not that.
Sure.
This is real life. There's no prize. There's no Joe Rogan. There's no cameras.
Okay.
But you have to get from point A to point B, and in the middle is your biggest source of fear, anxiety, creeps, heebie-jeebies,
Sure.
whatever. What is it?
I am arachnophobic.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Like I'm legitimately
All right.
arachnophobic. We live in a lake house. We live on Lake Wacomis, so like the lake is in our backyard. We got some spiders around the house.
It's Missouri.
Yeah, we got some brown recluses in the house, mostly in the basement. So I've gotten better about it since living in the lake house because I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
But
Are you get it safely
yeah,
outdoors?
no,
You
I'm not gonna kill them. We dispose of brown recluses. They're dangerous, and we have a 3-year-old in the house. But like generally speaking, yeah, we take them outside. I'm not killing a spider.
You don't want that karma on you.
No, and it's like, and they're living creatures, and
Yeah.
it's like we're kind of in their house.
Yeah.
like they were there first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I respect them, and I'm less like overtly afraid of them now because of just exposure. So there can even be like one next to me, and I'll be like, all right, you're just doing your thing. But I don't want to be surprised by one.
Sure.
I'm like, however that works in the brain, I am arachnophobic.
Okay.
But I love snakes. I think they're cool.
No, thank you.
Yeah. See, it's just like you're wired a certain way.
Yeah.
And you have no choice. Yeah.
Last but not least, please complete this for me.
Okay.
The world would immediately become a better place in which to live, if only.
Oh man, that's a loaded question right now. I know what I want to say, but I'm not much for starting wars.
There's plenty of people taking care of that for you.
I know.
They're starting all the wars.
I know. I have no love for MAGA.
Thank you for saying it.
I have no love for it. I have the opposite of it.
I tell my kids don't use the H word.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, exactly. Don't use the H word. Hate gets you nowhere. Hate is what they're about.
hey, that's why we're here.
That's why we're here. I have no love for it. I think it is the bane of human existence. I think it is perpetuating the H word. And it's a bunch of people that have never met or spend time with somebody that's just unlike themselves. If you're out in the world and you're being creative and you're collaborating and you're meeting people and you're talking to people, and I was raised by my single mom and my gay uncle.
Shouts out to Uncle Joe.
And he was the coolest person ever. And his lifestyle and his sexual preference had nothing to do with any of that. He was a human being who liked men. And it's like, I get it. Some dudes are hot. I like women. It doesn't matter. None of this matters. Like
Daniel Day-Lewis is not no throwaway.
He's beautiful.
Yeah.
I get it. So religion, creed, political alignment, whatever. It's like there's Republicans, there's Democrats. It's all a mess. None of it really means anything. The lines are blurred. You're either a humanitarian or you're not. You either care about people or you
Amen.
only care about people exactly like you. And you better care about people or you're just, I don't know what kind of life you're living. I'm sorry. I don't get it. Yeah.
Well said, man.
Get out of here with that.
Mikey Wheeler, at Windhorse Tattoo, at gift_horse_band, at Soybomb and the Dream Team, all on Instagram. Windhorserising.com is the website for the shop. And then Von Car?
Von Car, you can find
Von
Von Car
Car
on Bandcamp.
on
It's fun.
Bandcamp. Any other plugs?
Coward was a band I was in for a very, very long time. With two people are currently in Gift Horse, and our dear friend Paul, who passed a while ago. Really important project in my life. Bald Eagle was a band I toured with for years and years and years. Gonna go see a bunch of those guys in Columbia tonight.
Cool.
Still my best friends in the whole world. If you get on my Instagram and you really dig around, you can find all that stuff. I've been making music with my friends since I was 15.
Okay.
There's a lot of it.
Nice. Was there anything that you had hoped that we would cover that we did not?
I'm glad we talked about basketball a little bit.
That was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I like talking about music because it's like ancient. Everybody's kind of got their own things that they're into, and everybody's got their own influences and their own interests. But music is one of the first things humans learned to do that kind of connects all of us, even if it was just hitting rocks and stuff like that. It's at the core of who we all are. Some of us are more in tune with that than others, but I don't know that the world exists as we know it without music.
That's right.
So that's why I care about it.
That's right. Well, man, it was really nice to meet you. I appreciate the time. Safe travels to Columbia, and talk to you soon.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.